Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I've got a new video that I was going to do with you. I have an old external synth module, a hardware rack unit that I wanted to sample all of the sounds in it. So there's 6 banks of 127 sounds. That's quite a lot of sampling. So what I'm doing is doing a video to show you. I sort of developed a fairly fast workflow, which got the banks done in about an hour or so each. So it wasn't too bad. And I was going to show you how I do that. Let's show the setup first of all. If it's fairly straightforward. I've got a picture there of the unit that I'm using. Standard sort of audio interface, which does have MIDI in out. I've got the little M-Audio Oxygen keyboard controller. And if you see on the back of the audio interface there, you can barely make out. It's got one of them little mini jack MIDI outs, which goes to an adapter. Then it goes to the back of the 5-pin MIDI in on the Alesis QSR. And then the orange and the grey plugs on the back of the interface are the audio ins coming from the Alesis. And as you can see on the back of the Alesis, the audio out from the sound module is left and right, red and grey there. And that's basically it. The keyboard's obviously hooked up. I'm using the audio USB interface there, so everything's all set up. If you have any questions about that, just leave them in the comments below. But it's a fairly straightforward setup there. And I've got a project open here, and I'm just going to show you quickly how I set it up. So we're going to Command Option N, and we're going to select an external MIDI instrument. There's no need to check the external instrument plug-in box. If you did, it's not going to make any difference. And but I just leave it blank. We're just trying to trigger the unit basically with MIDI. Signals, you can leave it on all, or I'm using channel 1, so I'll just keep it there. But you could use I'm just going to be using channel 1 on the Alesis the whole time. So we just need the one track, and we create that. And we need another track, which is going to be a standard software instrument. And I'm going to use the multi-sampler, the quick sampler, which, there it is. Okay, stereo quick sampler. All right, that's great. We've got that up there. Basically, that's the 2 tracks you're going to need. And we're going to be recording into this as we play the samples from the unit. So the first thing you need to do is go up here to your external MIDI instrument, double click on the track somewhere, and you'll get this dialog box where you can select your programs and your banks. Make sure you have this checkbox checked over in the inspector so it sends the information out, and select the correct controller for your unit. In my case, it seems to work with both control 0 and control 32, so I'll leave it on 0. I've already got a program selected there. Bank, sorry, and that's the called the card A1 bank on my unit. It'll be something different on yours. You'll have to experiment, find which banks apply to which on your unit. And I'll just select program 1 there. I haven't named these. I did another video showing you how to name all of this stuff and control the unit from Logic, all 16 channels at once, but that's a different thing. We're just trying to select patches and play them here, so we only need to look at this once, actually. I'll show you why in a minute. So you don't actually need this track to be on, and you can actually mute it, but you do need to have the record armed, and you need to have this track highlighted when you actually play the keyboard and record the sound. So let's look at the second track here, the quick sampler. This has to be on. It doesn't need to be record enabled, because I'll show you why here. Select it here. So when we do our recording, we're going to select the recorder, and I've got my audio coming into the interface on audio inputs 3 and 4, so I'm going to select those, and I'm going to click this monitor button, and that's going to allow me to hear the audio. So that's why you don't need to check that checkbox in the external instrument track, because it's not required in this case. All we need to do is send a MIDI signal out to the Alesis. And I've been using this threshold, wait for signal to pass threshold, and I've been setting it around about 60 here, somewhere around there, just above where it's the blue line's hovering. That's a little bit of background noise coming in from the unit. So it won't actually record until we press the record button, and then when we play the key, the sound will go above the threshold and it'll start recording it. So that's how we set that up. And what I've been doing for simplicity, I don't go back to this track anymore. I've actually been, if you look at my Alesis unit, you will see that it says bank card A1 on it, and it's got the first preset 000. And what I've been doing is just simply turning my values scroll wheel to the next preset to record it, because I find that to be a lot quicker than going back up into that track here, you know, selecting this and then selecting the second patch. It just seemed like it was a lot quicker, just because my hand was on the way to the keyboard anyway, so I just sort of turned that wheel. My wheel's a little twitchy, it seems to jump patches occasionally, so I have to be careful. Bit of an old unit. So there you go. So let's record a sample. To make the recording, we're going to listen to it first. So I always have a listen. I have it set. I've been recording most of my samples middle C, so that's C3. But this particular sample on this unit actually has a rhythm in the bass section, which is this, and it has a sort of a lead sound on the right side of the key. It's a split keyboard, you know. So I'm actually going to record two samples for this. I'm going to record the rhythm and then record a second one, which will be the lead. So here we go. Check your levels on your I've got the output volume on the Alesis turned all the way up, and my levels are set sort of about 2 or 3 o'clock on my unit, but I have to vary them. You got to listen to the sample and check them. Some samples are louder than others, so make sure you don't peak them. It's better to have them too quiet. You can also see the level on the level meter to see what you get coming in. That's good. That's actually quite a loud sample too, so I find that you check your sample before you record it just to make sure it's not too loud. Some of the pads are really quiet, so I turn it up a little bit. So you got to watch that, and we'll go ahead and record this. So I'm going to get ready with I'm using two hands here. I've got my left hand on the mouse. I'm going to click this record button, and then I'm going to carefully hit the key, and then we'll just record a little bit of it. And then stop that. Okay, that's odd. It went immediately to, it normally doesn't do that. Normally you have to go back and select one of these to look at your patch. It's looped it. It recognized it as a kind of a rhythm loop. For the purpose of saving it, I'm going to switch the loop off. You can always go, when you open this again, you can always edit it any way you want in the future once you've saved it as a patch. And I usually have LFOs off and the filter off and everything like that, so it's just the raw as you would hear it from the unit, from the factory. And I'm going to save it, so I'm going to go up here. If you're not happy with it, you can record it again, but it looks okay, so I'm going to save as. Now, I haven't actually set up a folder here for my card A1 bank, so I'm going to click New Folder and call it QSR Card A-1 and click Create. And there it is at the top, and I'm going to call it Percolator. The naming of these sometimes take longer than the recordings. I'm going to put in parentheses rhythm, if I can spell it. And because there's going to be two of these, there's going to be a lead one as well, remember. And I'm going to save that, and there it is saved. All right, and then we're going to go back to the recorder. And I'm going to just listen to that lead sound, make sure the level's good. All right, looks good. So here we go. I usually wait for the level meter to drop below the threshold before I hit the stop button. It varies from patch to patch. Some of them fade out on their own. See how I didn't switch back to classic there. So it's still on recorder. It's recorded it. We can see. Click on classic. It's decided to loop it, so I'm going to switch that off. And I'm just going to save that as Percolator, and I'm going to put in here lead. And that's that one done. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments below. And so thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.